Did you know that your brain changes when you stay single for a long time? Some people say you get used to being alone, but what does that really mean? Why do some people start dating right after a breakup, while others stay single for years? And is it true that the longer you're alone, the harder it is to fall in love? Science has real answers to these questions. It turns out loneliness doesn't just affect your feelings, it literally changes your brain. Before we look at the studies, ask yourself, is your loneliness a choice or a habit you don't even notice? Neuroplasticity. The brain is not like a computer with fixed software. It's a living organ that changes every day. When you're in a relationship, your brain works like a well-oiled social machine. The nucleus accumbens, your reward center, releases dopamine when you hold hands with your partner. The prefrontal cortex, which helps with empathy, works hard to read their emotions. But when you're single for years, your brain switches to an energy-saving mode. A study from the University of Chicago found that lonely people had lower connection density in the ventral striatum. That's the part of the brain that expects social pleasure. At the same time, the insula, the brain's danger detector, becomes more active. That makes even normal social situations feel stressful. Scientific studies. The Journal of Neuroscience published results from a study of people who were single for over 5 years. Their brains reacted 30% less to happy faces. It's like your brain slowly turns off the social mode because it sees it as useless. But here's some good news. The same brain system that weakens one part can make another part stronger. People who choose to be single showed better connection between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. That's why some single people feel more emotionally stable than people in relationships. Are the changes permanent? Good news, they're not. A study from Oxford University found something amazing. Just 8 weeks of regular social meetings brought back social brain activity. Your brain doesn't forget love. It just goes into sleep mode until it gets new signals. Hormones and loneliness. When you're in love, your brain throws a hormone party. Oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, builds connection. Dopamine gives you a happy high. It feels similar to winning the lottery. But if you go months or years without closeness, something strange happens. A study from the University of California found that oxytocin levels drop by 40% after 2 years of being single. The brain forgets how to respond to touch or kind words. Your dopamine system gets lazy. Social rewards feel weaker. That's why dating can start to feel boring. Stress and loneliness. Long-term loneliness activates stress responses in the body. Harvard Medical School found something shocking. Chronic singles had 25% more cortisol than people in relationships. It's like living in constant alert mode. Even worse, their brains started seeing strangers as a threat. That's due to increased activity in the amygdala, biochemical adaptation. Here's the paradox. The longer you're alone, the more your body adjusts to it. First, it reduces pleasure hormones from social contact because it doesn't expect any. Second, it increases stress hormones because evolution sees loneliness as danger. That's why people say, I prefer to be alone. But it may not be a choice, it could be chemistry. Your brain doesn't reject love. It builds a wall to protect itself from pain. Getting back to balance. More good news, this can be reversed. A study from the University of Zurich showed something powerful. Just 20 minutes of hugging a day restored oxytocin balance in 6 weeks. And yes, it worked even with friends. The key is positive contact, not pressure to be in a relationship. Learned loneliness. Imagine not running for a year. The first steps would hurt, right? It's the same with relationships. After a long time alone, your brain creates avoidance habits. For example, you ignore signs of interest because you fear rejection. Psychologists call it the lone wolf syndrome. The longer you live alone, the more cautious your brain becomes. Emotional perfectionism. Research in the Journal of Social Psychology found something interesting. Single people over 30 often develop emotional perfectionism. They make excuses to avoid relationships. No one's perfect, or I like my space. It's not always bad, but it's good to ask yourself, are you making this choice, or is your brain making it for you? Resetting the brain. Can you reverse these changes? Yes, but it takes effort. First, small steps. Say hi to a stranger or try a dating app with no pressure. Second, therapy to rewire your fears. Third, and most important, change your environment. The Lund experiment. A study from Lund University had surprising results. After 12 weeks of tango classes, participants gained 81% more confidence. Improv workshops raised spontaneity by 127%. Volunteering with dogs lowered cortisol by 44%. How the brain learns. The brain starts to link people with pleasure again, not danger. It learns through repetition. If you surround yourself with couples, closeness becomes normal again. You can do this through classes or hobby groups. Remember, it's not a race. A Harvard study found a big difference. People who felt pressure to fall in love had 3 times more stress. Those who just wanted to understand people better were much calmer. Your brain is like a frozen door. Don't kick it open. Warm it up slowly. The key is not to force yourself, but also not to run from fear. Loneliness is not the absence of people. It's the absence of connection. And that can be rebuilt. So what will you choose? Being alone by choice or fighting an old habit? The truth is, there's no one right answer. If you're single and happy, your brain has adapted well. But remember, it's never too late. Step by step, you can unlearn being alone. If you miss closeness but nothing works, it's not your fault. It's your trained brain. And yes, it can be reprogrammed. What about you? How long have you been single? Have you noticed any of these changes? Let me know about it in the comments.